Welcome all my lovely kaijus of the internet. I am Hanyo, your demon cinephile, and a couple hours ago I finally got a chance to go see Godzilla Minus One. And this might be my favorite movie of 2023. Now, I haven't talked about it on this channel at all, I want to say, but I am a big Godzilla fan. I have seen most of the movies, and the ones I have not seen, I know basically everything about them. The Showa films, the Heisei, Millennium, I love them all. And I do have a soft spot for the Roland Emmerich movie. It probably was my first Godzilla movie. I think it was, and it just shows how old I am. Godzilla Minus One is the latest film from Toho. It's the 70 years of Godzilla, which is surprising. The King of the Monsters has been with us so long. This film is more, it's kind of the vein of Shin Gojira from 2016, where this is a lot more, I don't want to say serious, but a lot more darker take than Godzilla kind of gets. It's also a full on reboot of the franchise, where Shin it has a story where Godzilla emerges in modern time for the first time, and this one acts kind of like a remake of the 54 original. Not full remake, but there are lots of hints and Easter eggs to the original movie. If you watch the original movie, like a lot, you easily pick them up. But what's the story about this film? Our story is we follow Noriko. I think that's what his name. No, his name was Koichi. Koichi. We follow him. He is a kamikaze pilot who served during World War II, and like a lot of his allies that he fought with, he made it back alive for various reasons. And one of those reasons is he had an encounter with Gojira, and very frightening encounter. I'll talk about it in a second. But as the film goes on, he gets back from the war. He sees how much it has affected his city, and he kind of stumbles into a family with this vagabond girl Noriko, who's more or less adopted this little girl Akiko because her mother gave the child to her in her last moments. And he stumbles into this family, and you get these cool parts where we can see them grow together. But Koichi doesn't like it. Well, he likes it, but he doesn't feel like he deserves this family. He doesn't deserve this wonderful girl he's built his life with, and this little this kid that they kind of just picked up together. And that is the heart of this movie. It is the human drama, because Godzilla is giant monsters fighting and human drama. Little Hanyo did not care about little drama. He didn't care about the human drama part. When I had the DVDs and occasional VHSs, I would normally fast forward to the action. It's been a while since I watched a classic movie, so I can't remember how much the human drama has gauged well. The original film is phenomenal. The human drama works all the time, but this one has it's the most touching one, I want to say, that I can fully recall. I love Koichi, I love Noriko, I love these little flashes from the years after the war, how they're rebuilding their family, building a family without actually getting married and all that other traditional stuff. It was heartwarming and sweet, and just sad when you see Koichi's PTSD pop up and he can't he doesn't feel like he's earned this family. He doesn't feel like he earned these people's love. Enough about our human characters, which are all awesome. Let's talk about the big man real quick. Godzilla. Godzilla, Gojira, pick your poison wherever you want to call him. I switch in between. He is probably the scariest we've seen in all the movies. Eh, Shin is probably the more intimidating, the more monstrous, demonic god. Like he's probably the most godly Godzilla of them all. This one, this Godzilla felt like a monster, straight out of a classic horror movie. When you first see Gojira, it is it kind of goes back to the original movie because the original movie got you kind of open with the roar, but you don't see the monster. Here, you get like a good 5 minutes of Koichi and his troops, or not troops, engineers, and you hear the little stomping, then you hear the roar, and then the one turns on the lights and they flick it over, and you see this Gojira in the distance. You see it all covered in shadow, and a good amount of shadow too. It's not like the 2014 Godzilla movie where they used too much shadow, you could barely tell what's happening. No, they used just right amount of shadow to keep the monster hidden, but also just enough light to show so you can see what it looks like, how big it is, how intimidating it is. But as the film goes on, you can see Godzilla kind of grow and evolve. We see a little snippet of him getting hit by the bomb. You see him evolving or mutating, whatever you want to call it. We don't really get a lot of personality from this Godzilla. Kind of like from Shin. He's just a pissed off boy who just wants to wreak havoc on any human he comes in contact with. And speaking of horror movies, there's a good chunk of this film, which I won't fully spoil. There's a good chunk of this film that's kind of like Jaws. Like we have these awesome moments where they're on the boat and you can see Godzilla's fins popping up under the water. We get a lot of cool shots the with Koichi and his new friends on the water, and it besides just being beautiful imagery, but when you see the doing this on the ship, slowly rocking, swaying, and you get the monster hunting themes. It's like it really feels like Jaws in a lot of shots. In fact, there is a couple of shots that I want to say are truly referencing Jaws because there's a spoiler. There's this part where they're trying to capture Godzilla, trying to hurt him in the final act, and they have these um devices to weigh Godzilla down. Not saying how, but they're gonna weigh him down for some reason. And when the little things are coming off the boat, they are sliding off very similar to like the weights that they're hitting with the shark in Jaws. So Godzilla and Jaws, I never expected that combination, but it really works. Like I want a whole Godzilla movie just set out in the water and him fighting a battleship or some kind. I mean, I know Godzilla can destroy battleships, but I don't know. I love it. It works so well. I'm glad we got those scenes. The Godzilla rampage scenes are probably not the most destructive we've seen so far. There's only like one scene of him going on to the mainland, but oh boy, it is so freaking devastating. It's devastating because they play it right. They present the monster as nothing but I don't say use the word a beast, but this incredible force of nature. This creature that is mutant, is ancient, godly, maybe godly, I don't know. But he is a nature force to be reckoned with, and when he comes onto the land, you can feel his every step. Like his presence is so terrifying. The earth shakes with his very movements. And like I said, there's a lot of callback scenes in that rampage where it's directly referencing to Gojira 54 and the atomic breath. Not my favorite atomic breath because it's not like the classic beam. It's more like this shot of energy, and it acts like a full-on nuclear explosion, which was devastating in theaters. Like I was draw draw job when I was watching that. The film does a good balance between the monster carnage and the human drama. Which, like I said, this is the first time where the human drama had me fully invested. I really love Koichi. All the actors did so well to sell it, not just their or interactions with each other, but interacting with the monster. Like they're in complete awe and fascination, but also terrified at seeing this thing that they can't fully understand. And it works well, especially with the 19. The movie takes place in, well, we kind of jump from times. So the beginning movie starts off in 46. It, the ending scenes at 48 or 47, I want to say, or 49. Darn, I forgot already. Yeah, but the old timey look, 19 the late 1940s aesthetic was truly amazing, especially when because you don't have all these high tech missiles and guns like you have now. You know, they're very limited resources that our heroes are working with to fight Godzilla, and that makes it feel even more imposing, but also very uplifting because when they finally do get to hurt him, it's not just for their weapons, but their ingenuity, their intelligence, and that is the fun thing about this film. It's not a government thing to fight Godzilla. It is a group of ex soldiers, ex scientists, just people who are banding together to save their nation, to stop this new threat that the governments are basically don't want to get their involved with. And there's something beautiful and uplifting to it. It was heartwarming and encouraging. And not gonna lie, the last ending of the bits of the movie had me smiling like a little idiot. Kind of jumping in my seat, getting a little teary eyed when we got to see them. When we got to see that last, second to last shot of the film. Speaking of last shot of the film, this movie does hint at a possible sequel. Not sure, not sure how it hints, but it does hint at a possible sequel. And I will love this to be a new start of a Godzilla franchise in Japan and running alongside Legendary's MonsterVerse. I love to see all them to bring back all the old monsters in this old aesthetic. And you can play around with the timeline. So this movie takes place in the late 40s. The next movie can take place in the middle 50s, so like 54 when the first film came out. Or maybe we can jump to the 60s or 70s. You know, play with the time. That'd be so freaking cool if they can do this. Also, real quick before we get close to the video, this movie was only made converting yen to dollars, 50 million. 15 million, and this looks in the CGI, the sets, everything just looks so much better, more realistic. Well, realistic as you can get with Gojira, compared to any other films. Like, after the movie came out, I was just scrolling on X for a moment, and I saw this comparing Godzilla CGI to X-Men, not X-Men, Ant-Man 3 CGI, and just how god awful it looks. I know, I shouldn't be complaining, a lot of those artists are overworked as hell, but it's still a good comparison because look how much less this film was made with, and look how amazing it is. Except for a few shots here and there where Gojira looks kind of, you know, very obvious CG, kind of little rubbery. There's like, but that's only like 3 or 4 shots in the movie. Every other shot, it's just pure perfection. The CGI looks great. I love the look of Godzilla because he looks kind of like how you imagine Godzilla to look, but you can see all the radiation scars and burns, and mutations on his scales. He looks sick. Not like the walking cancer of Shin, but he looks kind of ill. And I like that. I like that touch. I love this movie. This is so great. The action scenes fantastic. The sense of horror amazing. The character drama, which is good. Like I don't know why, but good acting and writing. But you know, good by the good middle of it, I was truly in love with these characters. I want them all to succeed. I wanted Koichi to, I'm not sure, get over it is the nice way to say it, but just to get better with his PTSD and learn to fully live with his quote unquote wife and their daughter. I really love all the characters by the end of the film. Gojira was awesome and amazing. Perfect Godzilla film. Is it the best Godzilla film? I'm not sure, but it's definitely in the top 10 for me, and definitely in the top 10 for any movie that came out this year. I'm not sure how long it's going to be in theaters, but if you're watching this and you made it in a video, go see Gojira minus one. Fantastic, fantastic film. That's all I'm going to say. Go watch it. Delete this video. Go watch it now. So, Godzilla minus one. What do you think about it? Do you like it? Do you hate it? Let me know in the comments down below. Um, how do you want to see this film continue? Because I know Shin Gojira was supposed to get a sequel that's been scrapped for the time being. But if they decide to go with this, Toho decides to go with this and make this their, I guess you can say, their counter to the MonsterVerse, or they're just their new series of films, how would you want it to be? Do you want them to go like Mothra, then go Rodan next? Do you want to do a modern retelling of Godzilla raids again, or anything? I'm curious. I want to see this film continue, especially with our family that we experienced the movie with. I want to see those characters come back for at least one film, because there's a little hint that they might come back. I'm not gonna say why, but if the two actors don't come back, at least continue with Akiko. Make Akiko the next main character. All right, that's all I gotta say. Go see this movie. Go see it in theaters. It's amazing. It deserves. It's worth every dollar, in my opinion. Especially if you're a kaiju fan. Go. I command you. Go now. All right. Love y'all. See y'all next time. Bye bye.